Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Keep the Change. I guess it's been a couple months ago, I had the opportunity to have Rob Ruth join us from Bob Ruth Ford in Pennsylvania. And if you heard that podcast, you heard just an exceptional example, kind of a master class on how to really get to the next level as an operator and as a leader. And as God only does, Rob and I got to bump into each other last week at the CBT studio as he and I were both interviewed by Adam Marburger from Accent Dealer Services. And it was a really cool time because there's a lot of high powered people in the room. And as soon as I saw Rob, it's the second time we've met each other. But as soon as I saw him, I thought, man, I want him back on because I'm selfish. So we're going to talk today, though, as we were talking about his strategy for building his business. And he's been kind enough and transparent enough to say, yep, I'll get on your show and I'll share that. So I'm going to give Rob the keys to the castle here and have him run you through how he took his dealership from 50 to the mid 450s, to the 450 area. And share that with you and let you know how he did it. So if you're a dealer that's really wanting to expand, man, take a lot of notes. If you're brand new, take a lot of notes because you're going to hear a master class on marketing, a master class on discipline, and a master class on how to build a business to the next level. Rob Ruth, thank you, my brother. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Bart. Good to be here. So we talked about it before. So what's unique about our store versus your typical franchise dealership is we run about 8-to-1 used to new. Okay. And for the reason being, so when I was young and just getting in the business, it didn't take me long to realize what that used car department did for not just your sales department, but also for your service and your parts department, therefore hitting the whole company, right? So when you buy a used car, you're going to recondition it. So you're going to put it through your service and your parts department. So you're going to keep your technicians busy. You're going to keep your parts department busy. And obviously when you turn the car, you're going to sell the car and you're going to keep your salespeople and your sales staff busy. So from my perspective, I want to focus on the things that I can control as a dealer and not put too much energy into things that I can't control. And some of those things that we can't control are our manufacturer and the inventory situations that we all go through and the commodities and the chip crisis and you name it. The used car department is somewhere where you can take complete control as a business owner and you can make an impact to your whole company and you can grow your company without having to sell more new cars. Does that make sense?
100%.
And this is where you want me to go with this, correct?
Let's roll, baby.
All right. So I learned at a very young age. And also, okay, so you take that used car department, that's the majority of the cash in the company. That most dealerships, that's where the cash goes into your used cars. So really, we're not even turning cars, we're turning cash. And when you get the cash flow moving, and you feed all departments, it can be a really, a great thing for everybody. So I learned how to buy used cars at a very young age. I loved it. I became very passionate about it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going to the auctions. I enjoyed, buying a car, getting it through our shop, getting it out to market, and then watching it sell and then seeing how that happens. So then it becomes from there, it's like, okay, you learn the skill and then you have to transfer the skill to others. So fast forward from those early years, we now have a whole acquisition department where we focus on acquiring inventory. The biggest thing that I would say too is it's really, things have changed so much. And if I go back at the beginning, it was more gut and knowledge and experience where that's how you bought your used cars or that's how you traded your used cars. You use some data, your black books and et cetera. But a lot of it was, was more just your gut instincts and knowing what you sell, et cetera. Today, we're fortunate enough to have so much data where we just study our data, and it's obvious, like to me, if you know your sources of acquiring inventory, which are your new car trades, your used car trades, we have a buying center where we buy from the public and the auction, and you could throw a service drive in there. Okay. It's obvious that where you need to spend more time and figure out how to acquire more inventory from the right sources and not depend on the wrong sources. And the wrong sources, and I would say this is pretty, I would say blanketed across just about every dealership. Your trades are going to be your best source. Okay. And your auction is going to be the worst source because you're competing against so many people. You're paying auction fees, which continue to rise. And then you're also having transportation to get it back to the dealership. So when you look at a return on investment from your trade-ins, where you're really just working with one seller and one buyer, versus your auctions where you're competing globally, not even locally anymore. You're competing globally, and then you have additional costs of transportation and auction fees. It's a no-brainer. You want to figure out how to acquire more inventory from other sources than the auction. Our buying center kind of fits right in the middle of that. So I think once you know that and you understand that data, it's going to drive your behavior based on that. So for us, you could see for years that the auctions were getting tougher and tougher. And it wasn't just you were competing against people in the lanes, you were competing against, online buyers, and then it's the Carvanas of the world or the CarMaxes of the world. You're competing against all these different dealers that might not be relative to wherever your market is. So as things get harder, I think we reached a point in time, and it was when the chip crisis happened during COVID, and all of a sudden, we had no new car inventory on the ground, and used cars were absolutely going. They were going at a higher price than we were retailing them, and history tells you that used cars do not appreciate. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of learning that we all learned that they did appreciate significantly in that time. But for us, I'm thinking, hey, this market can't sustain forever. We can't keep going to the auction because we're buying it we're buying it for more than what we're selling them for. So we developed, our buying center, and that was just, that was a great thing for us at that time, because it forced our hand. We were a volume store, and we had to have an immediate solution, and it was a little bit of a desperate time of trying to figure it out, and it forced us to develop that, and to build that buying center, and it happened really overnight. I think we talked about this last time. I mean, for me, it was. I just got on my phone and I started messaging people on Facebook Marketplace that had their car for sale. And in the first day, I bought 5 or 6 cars. The second day, I did the same thing. Third day, same thing. And then I realized, wow, there's something here, and we need to scale this. And now we have a whole team of people that do that all the time. I knew it was something that I couldn't do. But to get back to what I think you're asking from me, your used car department is the health of your company, and you can control it, and you can grow your company regardless of what's happening out there in the market. Right now, the market is tough. We talk about affordability. Okay. I'm a Ford dealer, and our average cost of our new car inventory is almost $60,000, which is really hard for me to even comprehend. Now, our normal clients, I can't see them being able to afford new cars. I mean, we have a real affordability issue. So what do? There's a used car market. It's going to, for affordability reasons, we provide good, reliable transportation at the right price for people. It's a growing market, and the manufacturers are trying to figure out this new car market. So it's a no-brainer, Bart. You want to take control of your own destiny. You want to grow your company. To me, that's the easiest thing to do. And we've had so many different points of time where, we grew this used car department. We put pressure on our service department. We had to expand the service department. We had to hire more techs. Well, when you're busy and there's work, it's easy to attract the right people too. So I think when you start winning in that used car department, and your people start winning, your salespeople, your technicians are winning, it creates a culture which we've developed over time. It solves a lot of problems. Winning solves a lot of problems, and I think as a dealer, for me at this point in time in my career, that's where my focus is. I want to know that my people are productive, and I know when they're productive, I know that they're engaged, they're more happy, they're going home to their families in a positive way. It's just a no-brainer for us to just keep pushing that needle on the used car department.
Good, good, good. Man, that's so good. There's so many questions I have for you. Can I get to the buying center? Can I talk
Sure.
about the X's and O's of the buying center? You told us about what you did, picking up
Yeah.
your phone and buying 5 or 6 cars. Today, you're buying how many cars a month?
We bought 362 last month, which is a record off the street. Yeah. We
Fantastic.
bought more than we actually probably needed, but we put ourselves in a good position. We've got the inventory. We just got to sell it.
Yes, that's so cool. So do they have, tell me about the leadership, the flow, who runs it? Do they have goals set for each person every day? Tell me about that.
Yeah. So, we figured, all we really did was scale what I told you how we started. And then it was just, I think we have 6 vehicle buying agents, and that's what they do. They look for all sources of inventory that people that have their car for sale out in the market, and they reach out to them, and we make sight unseen offers all day, every day. And then from there, once we come to an agreement, we try to make it very simple for that seller. I like to say that we provide a service to people selling their car, not that we buy all cars. We help you sell your car, and we do it in a way that's very convenient. We come to you if necessary. We take care of all your registration work. We pay off your loan if necessary. If there's equity, we cut you a check on the spot. Everything that person that's trying to sell their car, all the things that they're going to struggle with out in the marketplace, we try to have a good solution for that. And it's as simple as that and as complicated as that. But we just train our people. We know what our percentage is of how many people we reach out to and how many offers we make a car, roughly. So when we just back into it, how many people they need to speak to every day and how many offers they need to make every day, and then we help them figure out ways to do that.
So can you drill down you've been so transparent about your trade secrets, so feel free to hold back, but if you can share, what is that formula? What's the number? If I set this up myself, how many people do I need, and the whole strategy?
So it's consistently for us, it's around 10%. We're gonna obtain about 10% of the offers that we make. So you can back in there, and then we pay our reps, we pay them a salary, and the great thing is these are not car people, Bart. No one understands this. I look for communicators. I look for people that want to service a client. But maybe it was a good waiter or a waitress at a restaurant. Our top buyer, or one of our top buyers, she's been pretty up there almost every month, but she is a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids at home. So, she works from home and she buys cars from the public from home for her dealership. So you got to go outside sometimes. You got to think outside the box, and it's really, it's really about solving problems. Somebody wants to sell their car for a reason, and we just try to figure out how we can help them do that in a non-complicated way.
And again, you make it so simple. Hey, anybody can do it, right? But not everybody does do it.
We're 5 years into it now, and we've made a lot of mistakes. So I think that's part of the process, and I think that's how you get better at things, is when you make those mistakes. And I've made plenty of mistakes in my career, and I'm okay with people making mistakes in my organization, as long as we don't make the same ones over and over. That's really what we got to learn from the things where things go wrong. But overall, I would say it's a huge success, and all those mistakes are well worth it.
So when they get hired, you said they have to be communicators. You have to have a intuition, and your team, who's hiring them, interviewing them, knows if they can communicate or not. More extrovert than introvert.
They got to be organized and detailed and disciplined.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it comes down
Yeah.
to, and be able to communicate.
Hmm.
Uh, we there's a lot. Let's say you're trading a car, you still got to get copies of driver's license, registration cards, insurance cards. What you still got to do those things when you're acquiring, maybe not the insurance card, but when you're acquiring a car, you still got to go through all those fundamental steps. And you need people that can do it consistently and are detail oriented that understand these things.
The average rep, you want them, do you have a number of do you call them reps? Would that
Yeah,
be?
reps. Yeah,
Ooh,
VBC agents, as we call them, vehicle
okay.
buying center agents. Yeah.
Do you have a number of calls? Like I've ran BDCs in the past where we said, Leroy, you got to make 100 calls. Do you have a number of calls you want them to make a day?
The magic number for us is about 30 contacts a day.
Gotcha.
We want to get 30 offers out per day.
Mhm.
We get
And
30 offers out, you're going to get 10%. That's 3 cars a day. Times 20, that's 60 units. That provides them a really nice income, especially for the people, the people that we're hiring. This is a huge increase for them.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we've changed their lives, and I think that's a great thing. And that's another part of our buying center that I love. It's like we created a whole new department where we're growing and we're hiring people in our community, and we're also helping people in our community, which it helps expand our brand. That we're
mm,
not just car salespeople. We actually, we're just calling you to help you sell your car. We're giving you something.
mm. Do you have any kind of assessment, like a DISC or emotional intelligence you give these people, or is it just the
We don't,
expertise?
or we really don't. And we've gone down that road. That's an opportunity as we go forward. But yeah, that's not something we're doing
Yeah,
yet.
yeah,
Yet.
yeah.
And
Well,
it's
hope
probably not, just to multiply the good ones that we have would be great to go find that. So I see where you're going with that. And that's a great idea, actually.
you know what's interesting, and since you said it's a great idea, let me dance with that a minute. You know what's interesting is I think as a quote, and I'm doing air quotes here on the screen, as one who's an expert in DISC, what I know about DISC is it allows us to know if they're a communicator or not, right?
Yeah.
And a D dominant, I influencer. Both of those are extroverts, and S is a stable, and C is a complacent, and those are a compliant, and they're kind of complacent, but they're really bright. Most of those are introverts. Now, I would guess that there's some introverts that could do a very good job at this, and
Absolutely.
and most of the customers, 83% of the people on the planet are introverts, right?
Yeah.
So if we've got somebody like me, hey, you want to sell your car? They're
That's the
probably
only word.
freaking out,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I
So,
think you're onto something there.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
because we haven't always gotten it right with the people, but we've got a great core group of people. It's cool because some of them are young. This is an entry level thing for them, and they
mhm.
found a success with it that they just never realized that they could have at this stage of their career. Um, but yeah, like finding that secret recipe would be great. That's a brilliant idea, actually.
I think we're all kind of looking for that too. And I think where emotional intelligence comes in is, are they self-aware, right? Are
Mhm.
they self-managed? Which obviously in your gig is, do they don't all work from home, right? Just
No, but we're open to it. We're open to it. Yeah.
so are they socially aware? Can they read the room, right? And
Yep.
do they have an opportunity for relationship management? And I don't know if the last one is as important as the first three in that role, but those are good things to know, right?
Yeah, I
Knowledge,
agree.
knowledge
Yeah.
is power. So that's interesting. So when they get hired, do you have someone that runs them through a training program? How does
Yeah.
that look? Tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, so we have our reps, okay, our vehicle buying agents, and then they have a manager, and she started as a vehicle buying agent for us, and then she was great. Like, we need to multiply you. Like, probably her disc assessment is exactly what we needed. So she is their manager, and she helps them, just keeps them on point of how many contacts they're making, like logistics, helps keep the machine moving. And then above her is kind of our director of acquisitions, where it's working auction, trades, wherever, just so we're managing inventory. But we've got a whole team. We've got 3 or 4 people that help appraise these cars every day. I mean, we use technology, but we still put a human look on every appraisal every day before we make offers.
Tell me a little bit about that. So Joanne makes, I don't know your people's name, so we'll call one Joanne.
Yeah.
She makes the call. She wants to make an offer. Before she picks up the phone, has the research already been done? VIN number been ran? Tell us about that.
That's
You're getting your data in.
what the agents would do. She gets the information to the gentleman or lady that's going to appraise the car. So she's getting VIN numbers. She's getting conditions. She's asking, a series of questions that we try to ask, a consistent series of questions to every person selling their car.
Okay.
And then she'll put that into our CRM, puts the notes, and then the appraiser, like we have a queue basically where they just go through each one, and then we'll put it. Well, we know what that person wants for the vehicle, and then we put the offer that we're putting, and then we also have like a column for if there's a negotiation. Let's say we were at 18,000, they were at 20, but they agreed to 19,000. So we just a counter offer.
Okay. Is this all in one call, or is it?
No, most of it turns into calls a lot, but a lot of it's just messaging, emails, text message, Facebook message, whatever it comes to. However, whatever means of communication that we've gotten in contact with this person.
Just like a normal transaction.
It's like a normal transaction, whatever's easiest.
Yeah. You know what I love about your style is one thing I heard, and you've studied this as much as anybody on the planet, is how does some of the big stores, big box, not the big boxes, but those stores that we know, those used car stores that we know about, how do they do it? How do they do such great numbers? And I think you've drank a lot of that same Kool-Aid. Why make this difficult? And how do we help their ease of entry? Right. Right.
Our competition is not the dealership down the street. Our competition, I like to say, is Amazon. Amazon has paved the way with convenience. Or Chick-fil-A. You go to Chick-fil-A, and it's just that experience that people are used to outside of the car business. That's our competition, and that's where we have to get our operations to remove all the friction we've had for years. It's like it doesn't make any sense in today's world.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be less relevant as we go forward, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, we're still growing. There's still so many opportunities that, we can get better with, which is exciting. I still, we go through our store and I see dumb things that we've been doing for so long. And like, well, why are we doing it this way? Nobody really knows. That's just the way things have been done. So I like to challenge myself and those that are in the store to let's find better ways to do things. Let's come up with a new solution, because it doesn't always have to be the same old.
Boy, in this business, right? It has been the same old forever. Paneled Ford dealerships with paneled meeting rooms. Joe Verdi books in the back that nobody ever looks at. I mean, all that funny stuff.
Yeah.
And four squares. I mean, how long? I mean, there's some stores that still do four squares, not very many, but that went on forever. Right?
Yeah.
And
I get it. I've been through all these things.
Sure,
everything you've said, we've done it. So it's evolution. And if you don't change, we're not going to be in a good position.
Well, I think our industry has been able to go a long time without change until all of a sudden we had to change.
Yeah.
And I think what I see with you, great leaders are visionaries. And my belief system is, in the little time we spent together, which has been so valuable to me, is you're always looking at what's broken about our current process. And why do we doing that process? Is that the easiest way for us and our customers? Correct?
That's exactly right. Right. I like to think like a consumer. I am a consumer. I know what I like. I know what frustrates me when I'm dealing with, especially sometimes bigger companies. It's like the lack of service, you're just treated like nobody. I don't want that for people that do business with us.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying we're perfect, but I know that I know what I like, and I like to think that most people are very similar in some way, shape, or form.
So, Rob, what are some of the questions about the buy center that, again, Bart wants to set one up, wants to get one in place, wants to exceed the way you have, knowing it's going to take time? What's a question that maybe I should have asked you that I haven't asked you yet, or things that our audience needs to know?
Well, I've said this so many times, and this is where people they dealers seem to want to overthink things, and they want instant gratification, and they want things perfect. Okay. Well, none of that is going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be perfect. Okay. And you're going to have to make an investment into this if you're serious about it. It's going to take time.
Mm.
And it's worth it with time.
Yeah.
But if you don't start, nothing's really going to happen. You just got to start.
Amen.
I mean, and I've challenged many dealers. I said, I want you to do exactly what I did. Tomorrow, I want you to go out in your market and just start messaging people that have their car for sale. Okay. And you'll see how, I don't want to say simple it is, but from there, you can grow, and your brain should be, it should start moving. It should get the wheels turning like, okay, we can do this.
Wow. That's a great strategy.
We're trying to build what we've done over 5 years where, that was a time where dealers were making so much money. And I think everyone was just in this la la land. And I think we doubled down in our organization, like knowing this isn't going to last. So we reinvested into people, into new processes, just like the new frontier where I think everyone was just collecting big checks and they just thought it was never going to happen. I'm not saying everyone, but I see it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when it went back to the old way,
thank God. I say this, and we talk to our team. Aren't we glad that we did these things then, that we're in a great position now versus waiting till now when things are tougher and the market is I would say it's more of a normal market right now, which has always been very competitive. You couldn't miss in 21, 22. You just couldn't miss. That's not real world.
Yeah. I find it fascinating, again, that the hills and valleys that our business has. And yet what I see is operators like yourself and others that I've had a pleasure to meet that are just doing things right. They don't have as big a hills and they don't have as big a valleys. Well, they probably have bigger hills than a lot of folks, but not valleys. And it's a little bit more consistent. But one thing that pops into my head, man, and I'm a people guy. When I was in stores, I did process, but I really am about people. And one thing that I hear from you is it starts with C and ends with ER, character. You have character. And what I see you've done, and you say it so simply, this is what you do. Just got to be willing to hang in there, never give up, just have the process in place. But what I hear you say is the character of who you are shines into your organization, right?
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a lot of turnover. You've got leaders that think the way you do. You've got leaders that are willing to question you. You question them. And there's a real healthy environment in all that. It's just like a great marriage. Why does it work? Because that communicate, and you've been married a long time, very happily. How's that happen? Communication. You've got to be okay with not being right and learning, right?
Well, and I think common goals too. I think that my goals, I want my people to win. So I need to align our people with the organizational goals. And when we're all winning and we're all going towards the same type of goals, for the most part, it really becomes a family. And it's like you can't get through certain tough times because we know that we all care and we all want the same things for all of us.
Yeah. So I love that, Gallup, obviously. And I say this, I think almost every show because I love this quote. It's one of those I can remember. But Gallup says coaching is all about three different things. And I might've said this when you and I got together. I probably did. But number one is set expectations. But what I believe, and I heard you just say, it's not just what my expectations are as your chest comes out and your shoulders go up. It's not our expectations. That's important. People need to know our expectations, right? But
Yeah,
they also, what you just said was, I want to know their expectations.
that's right. Yep.
I want to know what their cause in life, their purpose in life is, so I can help them get it, right?
I couldn't agree more. And I think that is a very powerful way to lead because I like to make it about them. You know what I'm saying? This is for you, Bart. This isn't for me. But if we agree this is what you want, and we agreed this is what you're going to do to get it, why are you out here in left field not doing any of these
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, that's an easy thing, is getting to know people and really understanding them and what makes them tick and their whys and what their aspirations are. I mean, that's powerful. And I really try to teach that to the other leaders in our organization. And, it's something we can always get better on.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that when you ask somebody that, you want to know, I call it their cause. What's your cause? What's the thing, that your big thing that you want? And then what's your because? I have a coach, his name's Marshall Goldsmith. And if I repeated this before, then you get to hear it twice, right? But Marshall Goldsmith was actually the coach for Alan Mullally. And they are very good friends. Marshall Goldsmith is brilliant. But he says there's a list of leadership things. And if you want it at some point, just let me know. I'll send it over to you. All the things leadership entails. And there's always something on there that somebody wants to focus on. Let's say coaching. And then they pick that. They're going to work on that for the next 3 months. And then the question, according to Marshall, I'd like to say it was my idea, is to write down 23 reasons. I don't know why 23, but 23 reasons why you want to be a coach. 23. Because in those days, and let's take it back to buy centers. If you're going to start a buy center, Mr. and Mrs. Dealer, what are 23 reasons why you want a buy center? And list those out. Well, I want it because of service. I want whatever the becauses are. List them out and keep it clear right on your desk. So when it gets tough, you won't forget.
That's it.
If you and I think about that, we can accomplish anything if we have 23 whys, right?
Yeah, it's powerful.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah.
You're willing to suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know this isn't going to be easy, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah. So I promised you I'd get you out of here. Last time we got together for about an hour, I promised you I'd keep it shorter today, but I do have a couple other questions. We cool for a minute?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So the hanging in there and being there and never giving up, and it took you 5 years to get where you are now. What would you, after the first year, how many were you buying, Rob?
We got to 100 pretty quick, and then it took us a little bit more to get to 200. And then it was kind of, we just didn't have control over what we were just buying everything. And that was like during that COVID time. So then we kind of cut it back a little bit and retrained our reps and, just added some layers to it. So now it's like, that they've got performance, how their inventory that they buy, how it performs, what type of return, that's a part of, their compensation plans too. So we're teaching them how to buy better for our store. So I think things just continue to evolve for us. But yeah, we got, I think if you commit to something, it's not hard to move. There's cars out there. There's a lot of cars out there. You got to figure out how to be able to put more numbers on them.
Yeah. If you're starting brand new, how many reps, how many agents would you suggest somebody starts with?
I think you have to start with at least 2. You can't revolve anything around that. I try not to revolve anything around just one person in an organization. We got to have, we got to have systems and teams, including myself. I mean, it's just, I need people to be able to do what I do and vice versa.
Yeah. What you could do is a marketable tool, right? That you could sell. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and get more information on how to set it up, obviously you're a busy man, you're running a big business. How would you suggest, instead of 100 people hitting you up, how would you suggest that they reach out to you and how that might look?
I'm open to it. I mean, we get a lot of people that really want to know about this buying center. I mean, it's like, I guess it's the sexy thing in the market here right now.
Sure.
I have given the playbook out so many times. There's really not much more for me to say, but I'm happy to help people at any time.
Yeah.
They reach out to me on LinkedIn, on my Instagram, and Facebook. I mean, I'm happy to help people, but just start it. Just
Yeah.
freaking start it. Just start it.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Just stay with it.
Start
Yeah, that's good. That's
it.
good.
Yeah.
I was watching a show last night, Quarterback, and one of my favorite quarterbacks is a guy that isn't so popular, Baker Mayfield. But the
Yeah.
reason I like Baker Mayfield, not because he gets motivated when you talk trash, although that's respectful.
Pretty.
Right? If somebody talks trash with him, that
Yeah.
pisses him off and he gets motivated. But because he never, ever, 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 ever gives up.
Yeah, he's gritty. I like him too. For that
And,
reason. Yeah, I
and
agree.
that's me. I mean, my past life is that. That's why I am where I am now. The season that I'm in now, never give up, bro. Never.
I think if you're in the car business, that's a requirement.
Yeah.
You got to have some grit and tough skin, and if you don't, it's just it's going to eat you up.
Yeah.
So there's going to be ups and downs, and
Yeah.
somehow you got to find out how to level yourself and just keep going.
I think Jack Welch in his book Winning, you and I talked about that last time, but one of the things he looks for in hiring people, are they energetic? Can they energize, and do they have edge? And of course, do they have passion?
Sure.
And edge, right? It's okay. And he talks about candor. Candor is great, but so many times in our business in the past, we had candor, but we were jerks about it.
Yeah.
So candor with compassion and character is a whole different deal, right?
That my father, God rest his soul, but that was something. He was not educated, and he was great with people, and he just had he had that spirit that I want to call it like the American dream spirit, where he wanted to succeed, and the car business was a way that he could do it without coming from any type of money or background education. He got into the car business, and through grit and hard work and determination, like he really he paved the way for a lot of people, myself included. So I'm grateful for that.
So if you don't mind, I'm kind of taking you for a curveball, and I'm going to try to keep it timely. But in his book, Developing the Leader Within, John Maxwell has like 10 priorities: influence, character, problem solving, leadership, serving people. I'm going to give you like 3 different topics, and then I would like you to I'm going to let you go with that topic, and just kind of take us in the Rob Ruth philosophy of what that means to you for a couple minutes. So one of those is attitude. And I'll remind you, another one is serving people. Another one is vision. So attitude, serving people, vision. Another one is character. Attitude, serving people, vision, character. And another one is problem solving. So pick one of those that kind of would be a conclusion to our masterclass today of the Rob Ruth philosophy of running a highly profitable, successful business.
Well, I like the attitude aspect of it. And attitude is not easy. I think it's a choice. And I try to every day just be grateful, like consciously remind myself of all the things I have to be grateful for. But it's easy for us to go. I could tell you 100,000 things that didn't go right, but I like to focus on all the things that have gone right. I like to focus, and I want people that have an attitude that they can, and that problems can be solved. I'm tying 2 of those together. There's solutions to problems. And I think if you have the right attitude and the right mindset, you can be successful at just about anything. So I really like those 2, would be problem solving and attitude. Because you're gonna face difficulties in any business, at any level. You just got to be able to focus on. It's easy when you look back. There was always a plan, and as the older I get, I realize all those difficult times led to something great. So you really have, you and we've prayed together. I know God has a plan, because I might not have understood it at that time. And the older I get, I realize that all those challenges turned into something great. And I think if you had that type of attitude, that knowing that you're going to be okay, you just got to stick with things, you can get through just about anything, and you can accomplish just about anything you want.
Yeah. In my other world as a ministry leader at a recovery center with my wife, over 200 people show up every week. I got to go to Africa since you and I were on the last time and got to talk to people about recovery. It was epic. It was amazing. Sometime I'll tell you more about it. But here's the thing I know, that with every human being on the planet, our test can become, doesn't always, but it can become our testimony.
Yeah.
If we've got a great attitude, if we're problem solving, and we always believe there's always a solution. Every time.
Amen.
We just know there is, right?
Yeah.
Brother,
it's just the facts.
Yeah. This is fun. Yeah, you're fun to hang out with. And I was selfish. I thought I want to hang out with Rob again. And you're kind enough to say yes. We're going to do it again, man, because you're kind enough to say yes many times.
Well,
thank you for being such a great leader. Thanks for being a good new friend. Thank you for having such a great heart and a great personal character.
Yeah, likewise, Bart. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Hey, if they want to reach out to you, how they do it, Rob?
I said Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
There you go. You guys know how to do it. And if you have any questions, you can ask me and I'll ask Rob. Thanks again for giving us the time. Hey, go ahead, share this with your people in the networks, everybody. And please subscribe to Keep the Change, and we'll see y'all next time. Thanks, everybody.